Hey y'all, today ScorcherToys@anymoon.com is doing something a little nonsensical. We're comparing a transformable toy to a static completed model. Representing the transformable toy is KitzConcept's 1/72 scale VF-1J in Rick Hunter scheme. This is the fourth release in the line, but it was the first to incorporate a number of dramatic improvements. The MSRP of these toys is increasing to $140 each, starting with the reissue of Rick's toy in late 2021. Representing the completed model is Calibre Wings VF-1J in the same scale and scheme. Calibre Wings has had 8 releases. One is a double set for a total of 9 VF-1s to choose from, and generally cost around $130 each. If either of these grab your fancy, or if you're shopping for anything similar, support this channel and grab the things you want from Big Bad Toy Store by clicking the link in the comments below. I really enjoy the Calibre Wings packaging. There's a high sheen box that's super hard to photograph, adorned with foil print and a flip top lid so you can enjoy the model without removing it. The KitzConcept packaging is nice enough, with an exterior box to keep everything safe and an interior box with custom art and a window. The Calibre Wings model comes with everything you need for a static fighter mode. Landing gear are pre-installed, but you'll need to plug in the rear bay doors. Alternatively, you can yank those landing gear out and install closed doors. You'll also get the gun, a seated pilot figure, a standing pilot figure with base, and 4 sets of TV-style missiles. Behind the model, there's a red baggie containing the instructions. Don't overlook the tray the model comes in either. If you flip it over, you'll find it contains a papercraft diorama that you can cut out to display the model on. There's no display stand, but there are several options sold separately. KitzConcept doesn't give you a standing pilot figure, but you do get the seated pilot already in the cockpit, the gun, and the TV-style missiles. You also get Batroid-specific parts like intake covers, side cavity fillers, a gun strap, and 3 pairs of fixed-posed hands. You don't get closed or open landing gear bay doors because they're integrated on the toy, and you don't get a papercraft diorama because the second tray includes a display stand. The second tray also includes batteries for the light-up gimmick. So let's take a quick look at that light-up gimmick since it's on the KitzConcept toy, and some of you may really want to take advantage of it. You can see I've got the pilot in the seat right now, blue LED light illuminating him. I can take him out if you wanted to just show the empty cockpit like so. Then we have these red sensor lights up at the front. Now I've got the door open underneath a little bit. You'll see it flush later. Flipping the toy over, you can see there is the gun. Not exactly installed the best, but it is lighting up through the barrel, and it's got a light on top as well. Now the switch is underneath, so you can't like pretend like it's firing, and you can see it's illuminating the front landing gear, so maybe better to use when not on the landing gear. And there you can see some light bleed through at the front where we have the lights that come through the side for the sensors, which I think you're normally not going to be showing the bottom of the nose of the plane, so probably not a big deal, but there you go. So again, KitzConcept only, we get some cool light-up features. Both of these toys come with opening canopies and removable pilot figures. I think KitzConcept did a little bit better job on the pilot. You get a blue crown, a little more detail up front. It's a little smaller pilot, which is interesting because the Calibre Wings is a smaller Valkyrie, so you'd expect that to be the smaller pilot. The pilot figure is going to fit right in, but before we do that, actually, let's take a look at the inside cockpit detail. Here we have a clear plastic HUD. There's nice painted detail up front, and there's just a little bit, really hard to see, I'm sure, of detail work along the side, some controls along the sides for the pilot. We can fit the pilot in. It's a very nice, snug fit. And once he is inside, he is not going to rattle around as you handle the vehicle. So all nicely done. Cockpit closes nicely. Canopy closes nicely. There you go. On the KitzConcept toy, we have some really blue metallic paint with this pea green on front. So not the most attractive seat, but we do have some nice detail here. No HUD piece, but that's again where the LED light comes through. So looks good. They've also done another good job with the controls along the side of the cockpit with red buttons and everything. So that looks really good. So both of these Valkyries doing an excellent job from the cockpit perspective and the pilot. The KitzConcept Valkyrie does have the ability to open the wings up, and you can get them that far forward if you wanted to. You can flip the toy over. There are hard points. There are missiles that were included. You just plug it right in, and it's going to stay on there nice and firm. And as you rotate the wing back, you can, of course, rotate the missiles to keep them going forward. This was a big problem for KitzConcept on their version 1.0 releases, the first 3 releases. Those missiles tend to break the hard points off, so only on the Rick Hunter and later do I actually advise using those missiles. The Calibre wings vehicle also has wings that come forward, but theirs are geared. So as I move one, both come forward. I can flip the vehicle over to reveal hard points, and we get these missiles here. Now, if I stop for a moment to compare the missiles, much larger on the Calibre wings, even though, again, it's a smaller rendition. Better paint applications on the KitzConcept, though, so you might prefer that. They also, KitzConcept has better hard points. These Calibre wings hard points, just holes in the metal. You have a peg here. You're going to press in, and it will stay, but it is much easier to knock off. So I can bring this back, I can rotate it. Once you've got all of them on there though, you do want to be very careful about bumping them because again, they will pop off fairly easily. The Calibre wings model comes with removable landing gear. If you're going to have them out, you're going to start by installing the landing gear door and just let the lights lead the way. So red on the red side, and we'll just plug that in there. Blue on the blue side. And as we're looking at it here, you can see a clear plastic insert. Looks pretty nice. Put that on there. And then you have, let's get that in, the rear landing gears as they should be. And they look pretty decent. Now again, shielded mostly by the bay doors. You've got a little silver strut and you've got rubber tires. The wheels do not spin, so it's really just for looks. And there you go. Now on the KitzConcept toy, we have something different entirely. So we have integrated landing gear with actual doors that open and close on this. So you're not going to be swapping anything out. You also get rubber tires that spin, but you could see not the same good looks on the extended gear and also not the same level of clearance. The KitzConcept toy is bigger, sitting closer to the ground, as you can see here. And that becomes a little problematic when we take our guns. Now this is the Calibre wings gun. It is made of metal. It is a very solid piece. It's going to slot right in. It will stay on there securely. And when I put the toy back down, you can see plenty of clearance for that gun. It is not dragging on the ground in any capacity there. Now, if I take the KitzConcept toy and I take the gun and I fish it between the arms here, and I'm just doing this kind of quick and loose. You would peg these together a little tighter to make sure it stays nice and straight. But once I put this toy down, that gun actually is touching the ground, so it drags. That might be because there's also a lighting effect in there. Again, it might be because of the integrated landing gears, but either way, that is clearly not quite as nice as what we had over here on the Calibre wings. So here's the Calibre wings model all decked out, looking nice, sitting on the landing gear. Now you can take your box and you can go ahead and make that into a quasi display. Now I'm not cutting everything out, but there you go. That's your makeshift paper craft effort. Or you can take this model, you can flip it over. We're gonna remove these doors we added. We're gonna remove the front landing gear here and the rear landing gear. They all just kind of pop out like so. And then we grab our parts from our parts tray and we go ahead and install them in like so. Here we go. And then you have a nice smooth flying VF-1, but you don't get a display stand. Instead, you're going to need to look for something like an aftermarket router style display stand that you could put this on and display it like so. Let's contrast that to KitzConcept. With KitzConcept, if that dragging gun is bothering you, you can very easily flip the toy over, open up your bays if they're not open already, and put those landing gear away. You can see very quick and easy. You could zoom your toy around, no problem. And then you can grab the included display stand, which looks like this. It's a little funky, admittedly. This kind of comes in the front and goes behind the head. The gun slides in there, and then you kind of collapse it on the back like so. And there you go. Now you have a flying VF-1. Now this only works in fighter mode, but we're comparing fighter modes, so that's okay. You can position it up or down, but you can't really bank it. And of course you could twist. You could twist at the base, or you could just rotate the display stand around. And there you go. So that's a nice little bonus from KitzConcept. KitzConcept toy handles fighter mode very well. You could swoosh it around, fight the bad guys wherever they may be, terrorize your cat. Go nuts, you can. There's tabs from the backpack into the legs that keep everything solid. But there are a lot of transformation mechanisms here, so you can start to get things a little bit askew, like you see with the wings there. The canopy, again, opens up a little too freely, and this nose piece can rotate on you, which can be a little bit frustrating. So that can get a little skew. That's for Batroid mode. It kind of makes sense, but something you'll need to keep an eye on. On the other hand, we have the Calibre wings, which does not transform and is rock solid, with the exception of those missiles, which if I touch will fall off. So I can whoosh this thing around. I can have fun with it. It is largely metal and plastic. I do have some pictures of a prototype they did, so you can see exactly what that metal content is. And it doesn't have transformation mechanisms, so you're never gonna get things that are a little askew because they've disconnected. So no arms hanging down, no gaps along here. And because there are no transformation mechanisms, you can do things like have really deep set intake fans, evocative of what you'd see on a real fighter plane. Similarly, as we turn the toy around, model I should say, there are really deep set exhaust fans. So they're way in there, thrusters, I don't know what you call them, but they're way deep set like it would be on a real vehicle. So here again, I'll take out the KitzConcept, the intake fan, very shallow, very deep there. And the exhaust, similar, has to be right at the forefront of the foot because of what that foot does. Not a problem for Calibre wings. It's easy to say the KitzConcept toy offers a compelling value proposition. You get a full-fledged fighter mode with all the accoutrements, light-up gimmicks, and the ability to transform. There are also fast packs, sold separately, that you can install to get even more mileage from it. Despite both being labeled 172 scale, the Calibre Wings model is nearly a perfect 172, while the KitzConcept figure is approaching 160 scale in fighter mode. So if strict adherence to scale is important to you, then KitzConcept's number fudging may be a turnoff. In isolation, either of these Valkyries look good with plenty of painted on detail, but when you start looking closer, the advantages of the Calibre Wings model become clear. The painted on warnings are more frequently actual text rather than simulated writing. The stripe painted on the chest is more line art accurate with its sharper angles rather than the staggered arch on the KitzConcept. When you compare the toys to the line art, toy and model I should say, you find that the Calibre Wings model is an almost perfect representation of the original art, while the KitzConcept toy introduces numerous compromises for its joints and transformation mechanisms. Just check out this profile shot and the difference in the leading edge of the intakes. From above, you can see that the Calibre Wings model doesn't need a blocky backpack hinge or wide-set legs to accommodate arms stored between them. So if you're looking for the best representation of a strictly fighter mode VF-1 in a scale that goes along with other models you may own, then Calibre Wings has nailed that. If you're less concerned about the scale and you're willing to accept some concession of line art accuracy for the ability to enjoy an articulated toy in other modes, then KitzConcept has a very compelling package at a similar price point, and there are other options both more and less expensive to consider. Did you enjoy this comparison? Hit the like button and leave a comment if there are other comparisons you'd like to see. Subscribe to stay up on the latest content and visit anymoon.com for the full write-ups on both toys. Thanks for watching.